Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Shayna Cersei. I'm so excited to paint with you. We're here for another day in our watercolor journals, and we are going to be doing the second half of this page. So in the last video, we did this loose wildflower wet on wet background painting, and we had a lot of fun. But we showed you that you don't always have to use the whole page in your watercolor journal. You can split it up into smaller sections. So we did that, and now I'm going to paint on this other section here. So I have been doodling a lot. So I know I do swatch and doodles every once in a while in here. So we're going to do something like that. I've been doing a lot of ink drawings, and I really have this one flower design in my mind that I want to do on here, but I want to incorporate watercolor into it as well. So I think I'm just going to make a really fun loose background like I did over here, and then do this flower doodle on top. So I can show you, it's a very kind of stylized illustrative design. So something like this that we're going to put over top. So for the background, I was thinking something similar to this where it was very loose, wet on wet, but I want to kind of make it, I'm going to do two of these. So I want the background to kind of have a circular pattern to it. Let's put on some more tape real quick. I'm sorry I didn't do this before, but that way I have some nice clean edges, and maybe I'll even have the pattern go right out of frame. So that can be really fun too, when you go right outside your frame. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so there we go. Take our clip and put it kind of on the edge over here. All right, so I think I'm going to do some yellows and pinks, which will also merge into some peaches, oranges. All right, so let's get out some Quinacridone, Magenta, and then let's look at this Nickel Azo Yellow. So I haven't used this a lot, this color out of my palette. I used to use it all the time, so I'm going to use it today. I don't know why. It's just, it has a funky color. It doesn't look like a yellow in the palette, so I feel like I just don't gravitate towards it. It looks more of a brownish color, but it's this very bright yellow. So I've just been using the Cadmium and the Diarylide yellow a lot more. All right, so I'm going to do wet on wet again. But I'm going to do a very loose kind of circular-ish pattern over here. Almost looks flower-esque, and I'm just going to start to drop color. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I know this looks crazy, but I think it could be fun. We're going to find out. And again, maybe we can make one section of it. So again, I'm just kind of zhuzhing my water and my paint all about, and I'm just using kind of a circular motion. Trying not to mix stuff too much. What if we drop some pink in here? Very tie-dye-esque looking. Let's actually mix some together to make an orange. That's almost like a red-orange. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. That's super crazy fun and funky. And yeah, we're gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna doodle on top. All right, we're back, and we are all dry. I am gonna find an appropriate pen to use. That is a brush pen, too thick. I think this 0.5. So I have a 0.5 Artist Loft pen. This is just a Micron is another great, and I think that's what's linked in my bio. I use Micron pens. These just are ones I picked up recently because a lot of my Micron pens are dead from use. And this is just a name brand from our local chain art store. So I'm going to do 2 of these flowers. I'm going to do one up here. I'm going to start with my center. And I'm just going to make a wobbly little center like that. And then I'm going to start to build on petals and wrap them around. And you can see all of my petals are kind of widest in the middle here, and then they get narrower as they come closer to its neighbor. And they all kind of overlap. And we're going to keep going. And you can make smaller ones and slightly thinner ones that are closer. But now our flower is a little oblong shaped like this. So we just want to fill out the circular nature of it. It's not going to be perfect. You don't want it to be a perfect ball. But you do want it to feel round. Oh, this is fun. All right, I want this to kind of go off the page. Super big bloom. But I also have to make sure it feels connected and like it's not out of control. Okay, I'm going to do one more over here. All right, so that's that. And I'm going to do another one down here. That was so easy, but looks so fun. Okay, let's do another one down here. And these might run into each other. And then I am going to add some of the little stripy contour lines. They're not even really contour lines. They're just illustrative elements. And this is obviously the vantage point of if you were like looking down inside a flower from the top down. And you want to make sure your petals don't perfectly stack, like always parallel to each other, that they're offset. There we go. All right, and then let's add in, this is fun, I love this. Do you ever make something and you're just happy with it? Now let's see if this next step makes me like it or hate it. I'm going to add in these little design elements. I'm not going to put them in every petal, just in a few. And I'm going to try to make sure they're not right next to each other. I'm just doing curved lines. I want them to be close together, but not so much so that they start to blend together, that they're their own striped element. Yeah, super fun. So this is definitely more of a doodle drawing journal page than a watercolor one. The watercolor was very simple. But for those of you who like structure, this can be really great. But also it gives you that element of loosening up with that background and not taking it too seriously, just playing with that wet on wet. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to add some additional elements, like some leaves in the sides or the corners, but this is just fun like this. I think I'm done with the stripes on the other one. I might do one more like out here, Like I said, I don't want it to be overwhelming. I don't want to do all of them, because then I think it would be too heavy, too much going on. But this is just enough to give it some interest. And let's do like one over here. Just trying to make sure it feels balanced, but not like perfectly symmetrical, if that makes sense. That it still feels a bit organic. And maybe one more. I'm going to do one more here. Let me start in the middle. And all the way out. All right. Yeah, that looks great. So I could just leave it like this. You could add more paint to some of the areas if you wanted to, as long as you have an archival waterproof permanent pen that you use, then you could add more paint to it. I don't think I'm going to add more paint, but I might add in like a leaf element over here. I'm just going to add, and these leaves aren't even going to make sense for this flower. This other little stylized leaves. I'm going to do one over here. Go right off the page. And to kind of connect them to the flower design, I'm going to add, so I have these weird little, almost like peacock feather type looking leaf elements. I'm going to add the little stripy design to them. I did that kind of weird, the way it goes one way and then the other. They should probably all go the same way. And I'm still doing it very weird. All right, but that was super fun. I love this little design. I love the loose watercolor background and then the structure of the ink flowers. Tell me what you think. Is this totally outside of your comfort zone? Not what you're looking for in a journal? Fun to kind of experiment and do something a little different than what I normally do? I really enjoyed it. And that's what journals are for, is for experimenting and doing things outside of your comfort zone, trying new things. You definitely can learn lots by playing in your journal. So I thought this one was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Shayna Cersei. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and check out the description for links to supplies and materials that I use regularly, as well as thank you so much to my super thanks contributors. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to be a super thanks contributor, you can go ahead and find the super thanks little button under the video, and you can write any message that you want. But go ahead and leave a comment as well. You don't have to be a super thanks contributor to write a comment. And I try to answer, or at least like, heart, reply to each one. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you for our next watercolor journal page very soon.